visuals and welcome to the channel and welcome back to Pokemon Thursday, the day of the week where we take a look at we're going to take a look at how how many poison stings can how many Weedles can you eat in one sitting, like a widgety grub. I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. Hello visuals, it is Pokemon Thursday and of course we do talk about Pokemon, and of course we're continuing with the same old shenanigans, rinse and repeat on the channel because we've got about 4 or 5 more types left to go. We're going to continue our mini-series inside of this series, inside of the greater multiverse, that is the Visual Guyz YouTube channel, and take a look at our favourite, well my favourite, Pokemon of every type. This time it's fairy. You will. Be one of them cute gamer girls. Yeah, I can do. Sorry, I forgot my coffee. I can do all the. Why do you want some cute girl wearing like cat ears doing it when you can have this? Yes, the fairy typing visuals. Probably my least favourite typing of all Pokemon types. Not that I've got anything majorly. Is that? I think there's a croissant flake, or is it just? What are you? Yeah, it's croissant flake. It's either that or muffin. I've been a fat boy today. Not that to say that I hate the fairy type. I just don't particularly love it, and it's okay, I guess. But there's a lot of Pokemon inside of the fairy typing that I do really like. But I was also annoyed when they changed to the fairy. I was like, oh, why have you done that? I want them to stay as they were for what the fuck happened there? Just leave them as they are. But I don't know. I'm glad they added it. I'm glad we got a new type and all that kind of shenanigans. And, you know, we got something else that could really fuck up dragons and whatnot. But fairy typing, it's just meh to me. But let us know what your favourite fairy type Pokemon are in the comments below. And let me know what you think of my list and my favourite fairies. Ow! But here we go. My favourite fairy Pokemon. Because they're over there apparently. Kicking us off at number 10, it's Gardevoir. And it's no fault of Gardevoir's per se that it's so far down, right? This is a really stupid one. I really love Gardevoir. Gardevoir's a great Pokemon, fantastic Pokemon, very iconic at this rate. And I loved it when it was just a psychic type and stuff. I still do like it though, it's a fairy type, and I love the combination with Iron, what the fuck is it called? You get the combination of it in Gallade and sort of, Iron, what, no, you know what I mean, you know what I'm about. But Gardevoir's a great Pokemon, but the internet made me get creeped out a little bit by it. There's a fascination of, and it also gives us little weirdos a bad name because I get often asked if I enjoy this world sexually, and it's a big hard no. I like to keep my weird world and that world separate. But there's a lot of people online that love a bit of Gardevoir, and they've done a great job at making me feel a little bit when I look at Gardevoir, because now when I look at Gardevoir, I know somebody most likely has had a 5-minute time away with a Gardevoir, and it's fucking vile and disgusting. What a weird way to start this list off. I love Gardevoir, but I'm sorry, I can't even look her in the eye anymore. Number 9 is Dedenne. Mostly because I love saying Dedenne. No, Dedenne is a great name to say, but I fell in love with Dedenne a little bit more during our adventures in the X and Y series when Thingy's sister, Clement's sister, had one. What the fuck was her name again? Can't remember. And Dedenne added an extra bit of life and an extra bit of gravity towards Dedenne. It was, of course, a Pikachu clone. It's the electric fairy typing. And it's a cool design. It's so tall. It's so small and cute as well, how absolutely dinky it is. But we saw it go on some great adventures during the X and Y stuff and did some cool stuff, pairing up with other Pokemon and getting up to shenanigans and whatnot. But Dedenne is a cool Pokemon. It's lovely, cute little electric mouse. Great design. Cool Pokemon. Had to make the list. Togepi. Togepi is a huge iconic Pokemon and a massive Pokemon, bridging the gap between the first lot of generations, well, the first generation into the second generation, when Generation 2 was all about eggs and baby Pokemon and breeding. We got the mystery of Misty's Togepi. Well, you obviously should think with Ash and whatnot, you get the egg, blah blah blah. Over in the Generation 1 stuff, it's such an iconic legendary Pokemon at this point. The evolutionary line though, I'm not a huge fan of. I like Togepi. Togetic, Togekiss, they're okay. I use a Togekiss all the time in my Pokemon Go battles in the Master League. But okay, and Togetic doesn't really do much for us, but Togepi is such a great, cool, awesome, unique design, especially paired up with Misty. You can see her now holding, when she used to hold it like that, didn't she? And Togepi was chilling there. Cool Pokemon. Gives us so much nostalgic memories for the Generation 2 stuff. Love me some Togepi. Plus, if I had one in real life, I would make myself some dippy Togepi and dip my bits of bread in there. And 7, it's Zacian. Love me the legendary dog boyos. I really do think that Sword and Shield is underrated in terms of how epic the legendaries are. I think Zacian and Zamazenta and their story and their designs, their looks, the types, everything about them is phenomenal. I think the Generation 7 games and the lore and the story is just so friggin' awesome. And I do love me some Zacian. I am Team Zamazenta because I'm all about defense and the shield, and I look at it because of football. Defending is my favorite position in football. But Zacian, nonetheless, is still a great Pokemon. When I first saw it, I thought, it's a dog with a sword in its fucking mouth. What the fuck they doing? And then I just fell in love with it. Thought, okay, it's actually quite cool, and that's badass the way it looks, and its style, and its animation, its signature move when it uses it. All of it's fucking great. And I saw all the funny ass memes where people would get like a shitty butter knife, and the dog would have it and be like, oh my god, Zacian, and you're like, this is friggin' hilarious. And Zacian getting memed always helps because you see it on a more regular basis, you fall in love with it a bit more, you have fun. But like I see a Zacian now, and the memes will pop up in my head and I go, you bring me joy. But Zacian, badass legendary, badass Pokemon, badass fairy. Tapu Bulu! Out of all the Tapu, I like all the Tapus. All the Tapus are great. Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, Tapu Fini. But my favourite to say is Tapu Bulu. How is that? That's just one of the most fun Pokemon names. Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu. Plus it has the grass element. If I had to pick, not only because it's got a fun name, you add the grass in. You know, we all know that I'm a team grass guy. I like the grass. Not that kind of grass. The razor leaf kind of grass. But Tapu Bulu is a great Pokemon. One of the island deities inside of the Alola games and whatnot. Like I said, any Tapu would have been great on this list. But I would then want to just be like all the Tapus and chuck them in a water. If I had to pick Tapu Bulu, great name. It's grass. It's a big bull bastard. Love the fucker. Tapu motherfucking Bulu. Mimikyu! How can I not include Mimikyu on this list? Mimikyu is an outstanding Pokemon. Great design, great type up and whatnot. When you find it as the on the thingy island in Sun and Moon, it's great, it's scary, it's creepy, it's weird. You're like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? It's a fucking Tapu Bulu just chilling. Sorry, Tapu Bulu. There's a Mimikyu in the little abandoned fucking supermarket and whatnot. But it's the story that comes with Mimikyu. I love it when they give us a Pokemon and they give us a great, fascinating story to go behind it. What's really underneath the cloth, nobody knows. It wears the cloth because Pikachu is extremely loved and it wants to be loved. That episode where Meowth looks under it and you're like, what the fuck's going on here, blah, blah, blah. It's so freaky and so amazing and so cool. I love Mimikyu. There's another fun name to say as well. Great ability as well when they brought Mimikyu out. You know, it's disguise breaks and whatnot, and it could take a load of damage before really being out of the battle. Mimikyu's a great Pokemon, but I love that story behind it and the lore behind it so much. Clefable! The motherfuckers that come from the moon. Anybody from Generation 1 is always going to live a big spot in my heart anyway, because I'm an OG Pokemon player. You've been here since Gen 6. Gen 1 lad. I'm an OG. If I was out in the streets of like New York and shit where they got the OG gangsters like, yo, young blood, I'm the OG. No one would actually say that to me, although they'd say there's that fat fucking idiot. But no, the Generation 1 Pokemon I love. And I loved even more when the whole Clefairy, Clefable, Cleffa sort of shit, they explored the moon aspect. Like in Pokemon Legends Arceus, when you can go and see Clefairy chilling at the moon and they're doing the little dance and whatnot. But I've always liked Clefable. It's always been this big, because it's quite chunky and big when it's up a battle as well. You think it's a cute little fairy, but it's not. I love that, well, Clefairy was nearly the mascot of Pokemon as well. That would have been quite fun if they would have kept with that design. But Clefable always had a certain awe with it, so I thought that's an awesome Pokemon of the time, which is normal, but now it's obviously fairy. But I do love the original card as well. I said it in the last one with, I think it was the fighting or the bug one we did. I love the original card of this, how it looked. It's sort of a nice, shiny, sort of glistening background, and the way it was chilling. It was, oh no, wait, it didn't have the holo. It was Clefairy that had the holo, wasn't it? Fuck, I've got all the cards down there and I'm fucking forgetting. But Clefairy had the nice background, was sort of like in a field and whatnot. I was always enamored by the card and stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. But I just got the holo part mixed up. All right, leave me alone. Wigglytuff! Yeah, I love Wigglytuff. I don't know why. Normal fairy now, isn't it? But yeah, I'm doubting myself on everything now. It is still normal fairy. It's normal fairy. Jigglypuff, outstanding. It was one of my favourite normal types. Wigglypuff didn't make that list, but Wigglytuff does make the fairy type list. I think it's such a phenomenal, awesome, amazing design. I love the whole Jigglypuff line. I said to you at the start, I barely use fairies, but whenever I've done, like, I'm in the middle of doing a new rerun of the Let's Go Pikachu game, and I've got a Wigglytuff as it stands on my team. I just think it's so fun. It's such a great design. OG, legendary Pokemon-y look. It looks phenomenal, and it looks like a Pokemon-y Pokemon. I don't need to explain what that means. If you've been here for the other videos, you know what I mean by that. So cool, so amazing. Another Pokemon that had a great card where it's sort of like jumping up and it's sort of got one leg out and stuff like that. The beautiful eyes, the beautiful colour scheme, the really fat bunny rabbits kind of look. Easter bunny, but fat. Ah, it's great. So, yeah, the one that I think they made the fairy type for, it's Sylveon. I believe, this isn't confirmed, this is just me theorising. I believe that they wanted to make Sylveon, they didn't know what type to give it, and they just went, let's just make a fairy type, and then we could just make this fairy type. I believe Sylveon is one of the biggest things to come out of the X and Y games. It broke a lot of people. They were like, oh my god, new evolution, it's a new type, it's Sylveon, it's awesome, and it is really awesome. It's such a great design Pokemon. It keeps that, it really does keep the embodiment of the Eevee look inside of its evolution. You can still see the, I mean, with all of them you can, but some of them it loses a little bit. But Sylveon really grasps and captures the evolution look. But as much as I love it as a Pokemon, if I did have to do a list, it's still down there though. I think I've done this video before, haven't I? It's not in my like top view of evolutions, but that's just because some of the evolutions I really love, like Leafeon and Flareon and stuff. But Sylveon is a great Pokemon and it looks amazing, and I have to give it its credit and its due because it did change the world of Pokemon in a certain degree. Like I said, I personally believe that Fairy was introduced so they could have Sylveon as a Pokemon. But I could be chatting out my ass there. Number one, it's Gramble. I love Gramble. I love Snubble. I think it's just a big badass dog. I loved the Snubble in the Detective Pikachu thing, and I loved it. This is what I said at the start when they would have just kept some Pokemon as their regular typings. It was just normal, then they changed it to Fairy. Somebody can let me know in the comments below. Again, I could Google it, but I'm a lazy fucker. I'll finish doing my videos. I'll get to edit one and I'll just forget. Why did they choose Gramble to go into a fairy? Because it's just a dog. I think it's supposed to be a bulldog. I think. Anyway, if it's dog related, I automatically love it because dogs are one of my favourite things in the world. But why did they change it to fairy? I don't understand. But regardless of what it is, it probably would have been in my top like 3 or 2 if it was the normal typings. But because it's just fairy typing, I can straight up just put it straight in the number 1 spot because I fucking love him. He's great. He is amazing. He's a dog with a massive underbite and big teeth, and he just fucking come on then. And it's a big badass fairy dog, whatever that means. And there we have it, visuals. That was my favourite fairy type Pokemon of all time. Ask me again in 5 years and it'll probably be completely different, apart from Gramble. Unless they get any really cool badass dog fairy Pokemon, Gramble will still always be number 1. But visuals, hopefully you did enjoy, and you can let me know in the comments below your favourite fairy type Pokemon and what did you think of my list and all that shenanigans. And just let us know anything in general. Whatever you want to let me know, we can talk about it. We can have a chat. We can have a good conversation. So, delicious. And visuals, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week. It's the end of the weekend. I bet you all love it when Pokemon Thursday's uploaded, do you? Because you're like, oh, that means it's nearly Friday, which means it's nearly the... No one thinks that, do they? Nobody needs Pokemon Thursday to realise it's nearly the weekend. There is actually somebody out there, because sometimes if I'm on back shift, I upload my videos quite like a lot early, sometimes the night before, because then I can actually get a night of chilling and whatnot. But somebody in the comments below, let me know if any of you actually judge your week by when you see a video come up and I put it on like the Facebook and all that kind of shit. If that's the case, wow. Please sort your life out. Don't let this ruin your life. Thank you for watching. Always keep being you. Keep on. Keep it up.